everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Sofa Series Artist Spotlight. Today with me is our, our future perfect Mayor Taco Ghost. Woo! I mean, that was very mediocre. So one part of Mayor Taco Ghost is Bob Pierzak, who is bedecked in a beautiful silken robe. And the other part is Joe Mariglio, who is not bedecked in a beautiful silken robe. So, dudes, who does what in Mayor Taco Ghost? Well, let's start there. I have so many questions. Let's start there.
Generally, like, the past, it's been I bring tunes, Joe, make a demo or something, and then we kind of play around with it, figure it out together, and then just kind of produce it together.
Mm-hmm.
In general, Joe, is in charge of synth design and kind of that. But we more or less kind of figure out the form of songs, tracks, the general direction of the sound on the albums and everything. That's all right.
Yeah, I would say, like, especially recently on our most recent album, I think the directionality of the flow of the ideas got a little bit more like bi-directional, and we started
bi-directional,
not completely finished in even in a demo sense. And then we would sort of flesh them out together, or take a section and work on it alone, and then bring it back. So I think this album and a little bit of the Red Hot Chili Peppers album, the one prior, which we're currently embroiled in some legal conversations about. We can get to that. But, that one,
please, litigious.
Really, we just we make fun of Anthony Kiedis a lot. So.
Oh my God, it's low-hanging fruit, guys.
Really
important work. You're right.
I think in the last two albums, the direction of the flow of information kind of changed up a little bit. But yeah, I think in general, Bob's got the hooks, I mean, the harmonies, and, especially the, I think, voice leading and melodies, like, that's, he excels at that. And so we sort of find our niche, and every tune is different. I mean, a lot of tunes are in completely different genres too, so sometimes that doesn't even really make any sense for us to work in that way,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, so let's see. So, Bobby, you are by trade pianist, composer, right? And so I think like something about what you're saying, Joe, is that, and what I'm finding a lot of lately, maybe in the last 10 years, is that nobody really stays in their lane anymore. There is no lane that everybody dabbles in a little bit of everything. And so Bob, so your relationship to pop music is pretty intense, but you come from a very rigorous classical kind of background, the training in composition from Eastman School of Music, which is kind of a big deal. So how did you make the transition into pop music, and I guess did you ever decide no more serious composition, serious, big air quotes, and then moving into pop music? Or do you consider them pretty much very much in communication with each other?
I mean, they're different practices.
Mm-hmm.
Practices. No, I mean, yeah, for me, it was kind of a move away from the kind of, European avant-garde concert music kind of thing, or even American avant-garde concert music kind of thing, that you know, I got many fun years out of, and still from time to time enjoy or love to support my friends when they do it, or, you know. And it's like the process, like, I mean, it's influenced me, like my thinking. I've been exposed to numerous ways of thinking about music and sound, and that, no doubt, whether implicitly or explicitly, shapes how I approach my songwriting now. But no, yeah, there was a shift. I think I just honestly, my taste shifted. Got more into all kinds of pop.
And then how did you become involved, Joe? So your background is, you know, you're a numbers man. You crunch numbers. You design circuits that go burp and woo. How did you get involved in the Mayo Taco Ghost world?
Is there an origin story? I don't even
When a man and a lady love each other very much.
With some mayonnaise, I think. Promises of more mayonnaise.
Just some mayonnaise.
Yeah.
Not a lot. Just some. Anywho.
I mean, I think, how did that even happen? I guess I saw the work that Bob and Clint did on which involved the basketball drills and songs about moms, which
Leslie was in.
I was in that. I dribbled. Yeah, the death costumes. Yeah. We're gonna have to, like, Bobby, do you have any video we have to include, because we're talking about like songs about mom, basketballs, and death costumes.
Paul Henry was always drunk, I guess. Be documenting and.
You got nothing.
I mean, also just to add real quick, and sorry Joe to interrupt, but like, you know, we had gotten kind of close because we were on an adult sock puppet show, kind of, that we were working on.
Yeah.
Got to know each other's like aesthetics and tastes.
I think that was after though, right?
Yeah, that was after, but yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I think one of our first real conversations was just, you know, I mean, it was really short. I think it ended with us both saying "fuck you" to each other, but it was kind of like,
fair enough.
You know, it was after that performance, and I think I just came up to you and said, you know, really like your work. We should work together, like, you know, sometime in the future. And you said, well, fuck you then. And I said, and rest is history.
I sort of envision it being more like a kid coming like to their mom's house and be like, can Bobby come out and play? You know, that it feels more like that. Want to play with me? Can we play together? Can we play? Well, fuck you.
I had the kiddie pool and I had the mayonnaise. So.
Right. And all the cards.
This is gonna be the worst interview yet. Thank you for that. So you approach him and you want to play together, and then sock puppets.
Sock puppets happened.
Came next.
Yeah, sock puppets happened, and that was, you know, I mean, that sort of spiraled out from what were more, you know, performance-based conceptualizations, like little short skits that we would do live, and it sort of grew into this larger world where we actually made, you know, episodes, and we filmed them, did editing, and all this. I mean, yeah, that was years. I mean, that was and during that process, we already started on Dreamman.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I had like basically recorded with Tommy Babin, guy, and a local drummer, and laid down just some, I think like 7 or 8 songs or something, just to mention of that. And then basically made these demos, approached Joe, said, "Hey, do you want to help me produce this?" And that was basically it. I mean,
and then Joe went and bought a bunch of gear.
That album was all, what was that thing? TX-802?
I don't know.
It's
Could
all
you? I don't know
DX7
what that means.
Stuff. It's all one piece of gear.
Oh, okay.
FM synth from the 80s.
And then and then it reproduced itself into your giant rack of shit.
Well, yeah, by the third album, yeah, I mean it was a lot of, so many different
Yeah.
things that had fired.
Well, so let's like, go in the Wayback Machine, and so let's talk a little bit about the puppet show. So what's the name of it? What was the concept, and what sorts of things would you guys kind of enact via puppets?
Yeah.
So so the puppet show was called the Pop Suckets Discipline Hour.
Yes.
And let's see, it's centered around a few characters. One of the characters I voiced was this sort of very twitchy, neurotic, submissive bee, who was, I guess he was, he was being seduced by these flowers that he believed to be, another bee, but it turned out to just be a trick. And that's where the idea kind of started. And then, it spiraled into us talking about, the stressful life of being subjected to consumerism, TED Talks, ideology.
Emasculation.
Say again?
Emasculation.
Emasculation, absolutely. So eventually, Cherith, the bee, got right. He always has to urinate. He always has to pee, and he just is so obsequious that he can't even ask.
Listen, you're not allowed to use SAT words here.
Oh, sorry. He's so groveling. I don't know a better word for it.
That's a good one.
That he can't like ask the person that he's interacting with, like, hey, wait a second, I got to go pee.
Oh.
So it's just it's tragic. His life is very tragic.
Poor guy.
But he on the path to trying to find a place to urinate, he meets his leather daddy, voiced by Bobby over here, and well, let's see. If we want to talk about the performed version of this universe, he is being led to the place where he's allowed to urinate as decreed by the leather daddy, but every time leather daddy turns around to look at him, Cherith gets banished to a series of hells. It's very
Orfeo. It's very Orpheus.
Pretty much, yeah. And so then the
pretty much it's Orpheus. So yeah.
But there's different, like, there's underwater hell, outer space hell, like a taco stand hell, ladies' bathroom hell. So it's like
the ladies' bathroom hell was my personal favorite, I think. Yeah. That one was really good. So then I guess you guys also, I don't know, you guys kind of confront gender norms. So you talk a little bit about emasculation in the little puppet show sketches, but in Mayor Taco Ghost, gender is incredibly fluid, and you both get to explore all facets of genderedness, of femininity, masculinity, both toxic and not. So was there a decision there to go there, or was it just like, did it feel like, this is a part and parcel of the Mayor Taco Ghost experience, that it is so surreal and so absurd that gender is maybe meaningless?
I wouldn't say that it's meaningless. I mean, Bob, feel free to jump in on this, but I think anything is on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing can be left out, I think. And so we do try to, I appreciate that you say, like, that we're trying to embody like all aspects of gender roles, and maybe like, looking at it from different perspectives, as many as we can. And if we miss out on them, that gives us more material for new stuff. And we're really trying to, look at it all. But I think it's, yeah, I mean, nothing, there's no sacred cows, there's no, it's, everything is on the, everything's on the table.
Yeah, for me, I just kind of look at this music as, the music is, like the lyrics especially, deal so much with sexuality, sex, and the weirdness of it, juxtaposing it in situations in which something sexy might be very disgusting or funny or absurd. Generally, everything's obviously couched in absurdity. But that obviously has a natural extension to our performative image or shows or whatever, to play with that as well. So at times, I feel like, why limit yourself to specific gender expression in terms of trying to explore sexuality as a kind of performative thing that juxtaposed with something that can make you feel uncomfortable. I've always been interested in cross-dressing anyway. It's a great outlet.
Yeah, and I mean, it's also a very like pop music trope, right? That popular music, it is the art form to present gender, like it is gender forward and sexuality forward, and especially for both men and women, in queered ways or in very kind of heteronormative ways. So it is very much part of the package, right? And so I guess to be in this sort of absurdist world, are there any, do you guys ever set up any sort of rules of engagement for the Mayor Taco Ghost world or universe? Like, are there sort of, I don't know, like Pixar has all of these rules that have to happen in their movies. Do you guys have any rules for Mayor Taco Ghost world?
Well, Joe always has to put on this like dark tanning oil, like
yeah, like a lot.
Shiny and greasy looking.
Yeah, like way too much. Like my skin can't absorb it. It's
gross. Ew. That's the only rule. That's it. That Joe has to be disgusting.
Greasy, like super, really. Like you can like slide on stage, you just
yeah.
No
He's no friction Joe. That's good. Who do you think you are? No friction Joe? Yeah, actually. Well, dudes, I'm gonna stop saying dudes, but you're my dudes. Do you, I had a really good question about more of absurdity. So I guess what are the influences that you're drawing from? So like what kinds of things are you taking in that you're just like that really kind of get the creative juices flowing?
Joe?
You mean in terms of absurdity, or you just mean in terms of like artistic diet in general? Because we're always. There's always we take in a lot of absurd things, but we also just take in a lot of popular music. I think of late, Death Grips has been an influence. But really, I mean, also just a lot of R&B.
For me, any of like the more theatrical pop acts in the past, Queen, ABBA, they're all in there, But also, some of the more experimental, like, Nina Hagen's big for both of us. Ween is big, The Residents.
The Residents, Ronaldo and the Loaf.
Ronaldo and the Loaf.
Yeah, and I mean, and the thing is, like, what I've been kind of fortunate during this collaboration is, what Joe shows me, I might not have otherwise found, kind of thing, and vice versa. Like I tend to show him like maybe some medieval music or something, or some musical theater or whatever, more pop kind of stuff, and Joe's showing me the like noise music or experimental rock or whatever kind of thing, and then the nice kind of confluence of shit that we wind up kind of absorbing, And it's actually a lot of movies too, though, I would say, right?
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
watched a lot of movies together that, Jodorowsky's big for us.
Oh yeah.
David Lynch.
Ben
Oh yeah.
Wheatley, another, David Lynch.
Mm-hmm.
Tarkovsky. I guess that's kind of, I mean, I don't know, maybe he's played out. I still like Solaris. I don't know.
Actually, one of the tracks on the new album is directly inspired by, Artemiev.
Yep.
Yeah, the composer for Solaris.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, I mean, are your albums, I get, are they sort of themed? Like, do you have, is there a journey that you go on from track to track? And is it one of those that needs to be listened start to finish? Or, like, how do you consider the album as, is it a narrative work, or is it just, collection of what you're working on at that time?
Yes, some albums more strongly than others.
Mm-hmm.
To an extent, I would say the idea that you collect a bunch of stuff together probably already is gonna frame it in some way for the listener anyway, if the listener decides to listen to all of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like our second album, The Worm, was very much like a narrative album. It has a story that it's telling, and like a surreal kind of fantastical story, and that one makes sense to listen through in order.
Mm-hmm.
Story. Otherwise, on the first album, there's 3 tracks that kind of go into each other like a medley. On the new one that's coming out next week, the first 5 tracks are kind of, we consider one larger piece.
Mm-hmm.
5 songs in it.
Mm-hmm.
So to us, that's a kind of, but it's not like a narrative per se, but it's certainly themed in terms of maybe loss, or coping with loss.
Mm-hmm.
So like the last album we had like ringtones every few tracks. So there was this kind of idea that every song was either about your mom, breakup, or a ringtone. And so it forms this, whatever it forms for the listener. We had our own kind of conceptions, I guess, and probably even different from each other.
Mm-hmm.
But we liked how we kind of structured it because it kind of, it was cohesive and felt like an album, like that made sense as a collective.
Mm-hmm. I guess, and Bobby, do you feel like, I don't know, I wonder how your stage persona kind of came to life, because you are like so, you're really, 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 really insanely energetic, and it's really enigmatic, and it's like it's just the right front guy. Did you ever find, like, I don't know, were you always sort of a performer, or is this like the new form of expression for you? Had you done much stage work before?
I mean, I'd been in bands and we had performed.
Mm-hmm.
I generally fronted them, so I
Mm-hmm.
could do the role of, communicating with the audience and dancing. I've always danced.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big part of the shows.
Yeah.
A lot of it's improv, but there'll be stuff, some choreography.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to get the band to do more choreography and stuff.
Listen, we can't all be like Bruno Mars band, like your guys have limitations.
But that's along with the whole thing of like, this sexiness versus this like weird failure at it and all this stuff that like we really like as a kind of thing when you're looking up there and seeing these really weird dressed guys. It's uncomfortable, I would think, on some level, and I think certainly the music complements that as well. But
there are so many ways to the south. They happen in our hearts, our hearts. I'd love to lick your brain fine tune and find out how your mouth gets around my big round ESP.
For me, I've always felt pretty natural on stage dancing. Like I said, I've danced my whole life, so
What kind of dancing specifically do you do, Robert Pierzak?
Polish folk dancing.
Yeah.
Was the first kind of dance I did. I did some ballet very early on. And then just like, by myself, just like learning on YouTube and stuff, just hip hop and jazz and things like that. Mostly, I'd say hip hop in the last like 5 years.
Yeah? You've been like training?
Well, no, I mean, in my spare time.
Okay.
I have a lot of dance parties.
Yes, you do.
But also, yeah, like trying to learn like a new step or a new move or something. Yeah, just like practice it on YouTube, whatever.
You're like the James Brown of absurdist pop music. That's great. Do you dance, Joe?
Poorly, yeah.
Great. But you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's stiff and angular, and yeah.
It's just the way that you can express your body. Listen, there's nothing wrong with your body at all. No? Your body. Is there any talk to doing, I guess, right now we're sort of in this Zoom hellscape. Is there any talk of doing a Zoom hellscape performance?
We had kind of tossed around some ideas, but we're just, I think, currently just happy to be producing video content.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, Joe just, you just actually uploaded the most recent, our lead single off the album coming out next week, Bucket Barbecue, which is, I mean, Joe can kind of go more into that too, but and what he did for the animation, but it's pretty awesome.
But talk about Puke Bucket Barbecue a little bit. So where's that one coming from?
So that one comes from I had an experience with Mike's Barbecue. Shout out to Mike's Barbecue in Escondido.
Woot!
The food's great. Nothing wrong with the food.
Mike's great.
My best friend Mike.
Michael.
Yeah.
Mr. Barbecue.
So the experience that we had there was sort of weird to talk about it now because it all seems so obvious now. But I guess I ran into someone. This was before the election.
I thought you were going to say this was before electricity.
This is before electricity.
No, it's not that.
No.
Election.
It's obvious now, but electricity back then.
Like, yeah.
Like, my God, what were you people thinking? It's so obvious. Okay, so sorry.
So it was before the election, and this guy was basically not just a Trump supporter, but a what we would now maybe call like a QAnon adherent. And I had not seen much of this, even living out in Escondido. Didn't see much of that at all.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking to the guy. He went through. It was almost like he sized us up and was trying to get us to respond to him. And I was a couple of beers in, and I just started laughing. I couldn't keep my composure. I was trying to get more information out of him, like, well, what is it that you think will happen when you drink bleach? And And after a while, I just couldn't do it anymore. And I blew it, and I started laughing at him, and then it turned kind of sour. But so that was the impetus for the initial seed for the song. There's other things in there too. It's not just about that experience at Mike's Barbecue. It's more, I think, a lot of, to me, there's a lot of alienation, not just in the lyrics, but just in the sort of mechanistic presentation of the lyrics and the way that it relates to the backgrounds and the rhythms, which are also very simple and plodding and like a march or something. It's really it's sad, but it's just dance.
There's cute noises.
And there's puke noises.
Yeah. And so let's see, for the video, we'd initially wanted to do a much more elaborate video, I ended up going with a little bit less of a plot-driven concept for it, because we wanted to have this whole plot and things, and it was just so much drawing involved, and I just
Wait, you did all the animation?
I did, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and so it was a lot of drawing already.
Yeah.
But not as much as it would have been if it were like an 8-minute cartoon, with scene changes and things, and dialogue. There's going to be dialogue, and that may still exist at some point later. I would love to do that at some point later.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was really. It just wasn't gelling for this time frame and for the song. So instead, but one plot device that was sort of that we definitely wanted to explore for that was Mike's Barbecue is this sort of hellish restaurant where chicken...
No offense to Mike, Mr. Barbecue.
No. I mean, it's not. It's more based on Crack Shack than
that dump.
Delicious.
And they self-decapitate, and they ask you for the check. And so there's this whole mechanistic process whereby they're very sadly coming up to you because they know this is their last moments of life, chicken life, and they say, please, and then they self-decapitate, and it's so it's like a somber, it's their swan song,
The chicken song. Shut up! You got your birds wrong. Shut up. I just want to clip the please and have that playing for 40 minutes. That's gonna be the interview
for you. We'll just email that along.
That would be great. So what are the other kind of topics that are covered on this album that is being released on May 29th? Pew, pew, pew. Oh wait, no wait.
Actually, just came in yesterday.
Yeah, sorry, hang on. I have something to include. So ready?
Yep.
Yeah! May 29th! Okay, go on. I got props.
I actually thought you were gonna play one of his songs.
No, I don't care about you. I just wanted to show my DJ horn. It's the only app that I use regularly. Go on, hold it up again.
So this just came in yesterday.
Oh, it's so pretty. Look at those horn heads.
Yeah.
Aww. Look at you fancy folk.
And,
you guys are so Shakespearean.
Oh, pretty cool. We got to actually, we were enough to kind of get a photo.
Oh, that's great.
We got a photo shoot in right before the lockdown kind of started, so we we're kind of lucky to get to work with the photographer and do that. And then, the rest of the work, obviously, all remote and stuff. But yeah, we're pretty excited. it was very disappointing, I think, to have to cancel a show that, so much planning and just already so much delay. But, ultimately we're really lucky to be able to continue working and making music, I think. And still happy that we're just releasing all this stuff. And in fact, we're happy to announce all our back catalog now going on Spotify and all the streaming services. So
That's awesome.
accessible in that way.
Yeah.
People consume that now stuff. So neither of us are very good at promoting it, but at the very least, we're just happy to kind of share it in a more accessible way now.
Yeah. That looks beautiful. That looks really, really good. That's amazing. You guys are super legit.
I wouldn't go that far.
I mean, it folds open though. Like, yeah, you didn't just buy the pack of like CD sleeves from Best Buy, and just Sharpie.
I just save a lot of time.
I made you a mixtape. Here you go. That's really beautiful. So you can will you send us all of the links to disseminate, and we will happily spread the word on the good word on your behalf, because I mean they just announced you on Midday Edition yesterday. So Mayor Taco Ghost came out of the mouth of Julia Dixon Evans, which is awesome, to Maureen Kavanaugh. I mean, this is it. You guys are a big deal. You need to work on your web presence. Or some bullshit. Are you an influencer?
Yeah.
Do you sell diet teas and things like that? Diet lollipops? Mayonnaise. And nail polish. Mayonnaise and nail polish. Bobby Pierzak. And Polish dancing. So fierce. Thank you both for sharing with Project Blink your amazing work. I have been like listening to it on repeat. It is absurd. It is disturbing. It is really fun. It's this great space where all the things can coexist happily. And you don't. Yeah, I don't know. I like that it is this big sort of stew pot of so many things. It's fun and terrifying and wonderful all at the same time. So thank you so much for sharing your music with us.
Yeah, we honestly, I think we're really proud of that single. Everyone, I mean, it really, like you're saying, it's like, there's a lot of like weird shit about it that's funny and whatever, but there's a lot of fear in there. There's a lot of sadness, and there's a lot of anger at how everything kind of went down. I think kind of coexist like that side by side. Good.
I think it's good. So,
thank you so much for hosting it, curating it.
My pleasure, man.
Everyone together, because that's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, this was it's been a wonderful show, and you guys are all really incredibly talented, and I'm glad to share with whoever's listening the wonderful weird wild world of Mayor Taco Ghost. So thank you for taking the time to chat with me. I appreciate it. Cheers. Cheers. Ah.